What's going on? Everybody, not just music podcast in the building. Monday,
Yep.
jitters are gone. It's evening time, so all of that's out the way. What's good with the day, man? How's everything? How's the weekend?
Man, everything's good on my end, man. Just crazy situations with the Airedale County schools down here. I got a problem with, man. But other than that, you know, things have been chilled, been great.
You mean you said Iredale County?
Yeah, man. Statesville High School, um, with that high school that I attended, this morning at approximately 8 a.m., a bomb threat was reported at Statesville High School. Um, Out of abundance of caution, both Crossroads Early College and Statesville High Schools were evacuated. The Statesville Police Department and the Iredell County Sheriff's Office have cleared the building. Both Statesville High School and Crossroads Early Colleges will now run on a 2-hour delayed schedule. If parents wish to pick up their students, they will need to come into the school to sign the students out. We appreciate the partnership of our law enforcement agencies. Iredell State Schools remain committed to the safety of our students and staff. Okay, after I say that, let me say they informed the parents 2 hours later after this quote unquote bomb threat. Um, Also, they did an investigation, found out that it wasn't even a bomb. It was no weapons or anything in the school. Lastly, they tried to change the narrative to make and say they was having a pep rally. That's why all the kids got evacuated. And like they tried to cover it up. So I say all this to say, man, these school systems, man, we gotta do better, man. I know we talk a lot about education, but we gotta do better, and kids have already missed tons of school this year due to like a little bit of snow, it's cleared up. Oh, it's a little bit this and that. And I understand safety, but we talk about our age when, we was made to go to school in certain situations. And like, if it was a little bit of something on the road, they weren't canceling no school. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like nowadays, man, kids just got it easy. Kids got it a little easy, man. And it's showing in the educational system. And I think teachers are not really taking their jobs as serious. And I think it just needs to improve, man. You see all these kids getting in a lot of illegal activities and doing things, and I feel like it's just because the people in charge have kind of lost control of the situation and the narrative, man. I just
It's
want to throw that out there
it.
because it was some news today, and I just see a lot of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying in the school system, and it was actually going to lead into what when we dive into a conversation, what I wanted to talk about also. But go ahead, bro. I
Nah,
just had to get that off my
what you
chest.
want? I mean, what you want to talk about? So I mean, you already talking, so go ahead.
Okay.
Nah.
Well, basically, we talk about the education, how we say the schools pretty much misinformed us about a lot of our history and left out the key things that we've done. And I totally agree. And one thing that I never considered, well, really like thought about was once I started investigating, certain civil rights leaders, are great men and women that we're all human. Let me put that out there first. We're all human. We're bound to make mistakes. This is no form of bashing or anything. This is going all into my point. I'm just trying to open up the listeners' ears and thoughts and minds. But it's a lot of stuff that or negative, some negative things about some of these activists that teachers didn't even tell that part. So I kind of gain a respect on that end because in a world where it's easy to taint black people and make black people look so horrific and tarnish our name how it is today. It amazes me that they wouldn't even brought these things up, some of the misfortunes of our leaders. And that's great, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, it's a lot of things that, kind of you have to go back and look into. For example, the great Martin Luther King Jr., it was documents, FBI documents. People fail to realize FBI was heavy on Martin Luther King. The FBI was like heavily investigating him, wiretapping his phones, his hotel rooms. Y'all got to go back and look at the history, like research. But he was heavily watched by the FBI. And I want to read some stuff. The FBI surveillance of Martin Luther King. The FBI bugged King's hotel rooms and tapped his phones to gather evidence of his sexual relationships. Records and accounts indicate King was involved with several women outside his marriage to Coretta Scott King, with reports suggesting affairs with at least 4 women. In 1964, the FBI sent an anonymous letter and an audio complication of his affairs to King, calling him an evil, abnormal beast and urging him to commit suicide before his actions were exposed. Y'all hear that? They was really trying to get this man to kill himself. You know, impact and context. While some in his inner circle and scholars have acknowledged his infidelity, the focus of historians is often on the FBI's illegal, intense harassment rather just the personal indiscretions. Despite knowing about her husband's unfaithfulness, Coretta Scott King reportedly chose to focus on their marriage and his public legacy, viewing the relationship as very good until the end. So she stayed down with her man. And back then, it was more like forgiveness and it was more togetherness. Like people fought through things other than rather today, people break up over small things, it's a little history on that. And just Martin Luther King was a preacher. He was in the church. So his position on homosexualities, while proponent of equality of Black Americans, King held views on homosexuality that were considered consenting by modern standards. He believed it was a cultural or acquired tendency rather than innate, and that it could be cured. Um, and also one of the most horrific ones, I ended with this, is where they say uh some biographers, including David Garreau, have alleged, based on FBI files, that King watched a woman being raped and did not intervene. Though these claims is considered controversy and for some part of the FBI's campaign to ruin his reputation. I want to throw this part in, it's crucial. It is important to note that these actions are often discussed in the context of a smear campaign by the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover, which wiretapped his rooms, recorded his private life, and attempted to blackmail him into suicide, which I said before. So I just wanted to talk about the history of that, and I wanted to ask you a question. Considering all that I read and the history, the school system's not telling us a lot of stuff, and you going to research it. Considering back then, like where it was more private, it wasn't technology driven like it is now. Um, how do you think Martin would have adapted to today's time? Like saying that, not saying that these are all allegedly. We gonna put it like that. But saying if he was living this lifestyle behind closed doors, do you think he could have been the same Martin in today, the effective Martin today as he was back then?
Yes. For one, it's never it's never the personal life that's graded in the first place. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, nobody was judging him for his personal life due to him being in a pastoral role. There's a lot of stories that are in an alleged manner against him. Let's be honest. Let's look at the movement one black individual had created at that
Right.
time. And no, a school is not going to talk about the eliteness of what a black man or a black woman is going to be looked at as highly powerful, in the sense of, if they show it, they're only going to show the "I have a dream" speech, or they're going to talk about the march. That's it. They're not going to talk
Right.
about the ups and downs of his life, and getting all of the raggedy details, and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and try to find some type of dirt.
So they don't even get that deep in college. You being a college
What
graduate,
the
like
no the what they what was the things that you learned, when one of the biggest things that I learned from being in college was learning how to research, and learning how to research the correct way, and researching on platforms that are worthy, versus just saying I'm gonna get on Google and just search things through Google. Google is a nice platform, but in college, Google is not considered a worthy platform to search from. You had to use a certain platform. I'm not gonna say it on here because in some situations it's considered private. But
mm,
there's a platform that you can access to see files. Now, one of the biggest things that I uncovered about, especially King, the FBI, what a lot of people didn't know about the FBI at that time. The FBI at that time was very sneaky. They were conniving. They would try to, any situation of a Negro trying to start movements, they'll try to create dirt on them, throw dirt on their name, try to amp up anything possible to make it seem as if in there doing something so bad off, to try to create separation in the black community, because they knew
right.
he had that much power. So we're gonna try to, throw things off. We're gonna throw these, situations out there that he's doing. We're gonna tap his phone, we're gonna do all of this stuff.
Right.
And considering that at that time, most of the stuff they said and wanted to leave in the limbos of saying that they don't know if it's true or not, what
Mhm.
they would do is they'd just leave that out of history. They don't want to put, they want to give us, they'll give us the parts that are considered, yeah, we know he did this march
Mhm.
on this day. Yes, we know he had this speech on this day. Yeah, we know he died on this day, on
Mhm.
this, at this hotel, on this balcony. We have those as solidification. But anything that was of an alleged manner, I noticed within
It's kind of
anything,
unknown, question
they
mark.
don't want to ever put that out there because they don't even know if it's true or not themselves. You get me? So they just know that all of this stuff was being thrown at him, but they didn't know if it was true enough to say that, yeah, we could put this down in black and white and solidify him as he did this or he did that. They don't know. So for now, let's say even in today's time, King, to me, there's this thing where anybody that, like, even those of this time now that say, you
Because
know,
you see, I'm sorry to cut in. You
go
see
ahead.
the situation. You see the situations with the pastors,
Yeah.
and I bring this up because you know the situation with the Drewski skit,
Mm-hmm.
and him calling out the mega churches and the pastors,
Uh-huh.
and Martin Luther King being a pastor and saying and these things, because social media, I think his business would have been more out there now more than ever than back then if he was doing some stuff. Because women of today, they kiss and tell. If they sleep with Martin, they're gonna be on Instagram. They're gonna be, what I'm saying?
I
But
mean,
like
that's just
compared to
the
back
era.
then,
Yeah, the era.
you know,
You look at the eras. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, but again, in a alleged situation, I can't go off of
yeah,
because allegedly somebody could have been lying. And
right,
it's strange enough as it is. I think today's time, he probably would have had enough people, the right people in place to maybe catch some fraudulent situation going on in a different manner. He could have probably saw it coming. But in that time, you think about it, you know, most of the Negroes at that time didn't have a platform. He was one of those people where the news and everything would come to his church and
mm,
basically give him a platform, record. There's videos of him recorded preaching. Negroes couldn't afford that in their churches at that time, but the
right,
news stations could. But they
right,
knew all of this was going on, and then they knew this man was making a movement, not due to the case of, looking at his lifestyle, if it was a personal thing in his lifestyle, but the little
right,
situations that they were paying attention to. And this is something that I always hated. Being a pastor or
uh-huh,
being in a pastoral role puts you in a
right,
position where you have to be amongst people. You have to be a people person.
right.
People conniving is I don't know what. I've seen situations where
Let's talk about it.
it ain't even the pastor's fault. I've seen
Uh-huh.
situations where there was a conniving woman in the situation, and
Oh,
she's out to seek and destroy a situation. It could have easily allegedly been that. I don't know. But at the
right,
time and all of this was going on back in the 60s, there is a different phase of everything going on. Unlike now, we're
right.
technology driven world. Everybody got access to the
Everything Front Street.
yeah,
It's all on Front Street.
everybody got access to the internet now, to the world, and it's like, okay, I mean, there would have been different situations. I think it's just different situations for different folks. But I still know that one thing still remains is I would never trust the FBI and what the FBI has presented, especially
And, and,
even.
and, and I bring these things up, bro, not to discredit his name,
Hmm.
not to discredit him. I bring these things up for a reason. The show for the way that times have changed,
Hmm.
from back then to now, for one. For two, like the morals, the integrity,
Yeah.
like the belief, like we're so easily influenced now
Oh yeah.
more than back then. I feel like a lot of people probably use common sense and thought about allegations back then. Now, when
Hmm.
you hear something, you automatically 90% of the time think it's true.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we live off of. What we hear, most of us think, because where our minds are so, like you say, social media driven, and it's
Hmm.
like robotic minds, AI,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
So I bring this up to say pretty much would he have the same effect? Because like if this was exposed more, because it will be exposed more now than I feel like it was then.
Yeah, if it was
You
a
know,
real situation, yeah, because sad enough, we've got to the point where everything is just drama driven.
right,
If
right.
it's got to have juicy, it has to have that juicy draw effect to where it's negative. As I said before, negatively driven. If it ain't negatively driven, it's not gonna make sense right now. And that's and this is something I was considering for such a long time too. You know, the people that look at the history situation, and even not even just saying history from a standpoint of even from then. I'm talking about maybe even history as far as like 5 days ago, right?
Mhm, mhm,
So you got people like, and I'm gonna point this out. you pointed out one situation, and this is I'm gonna show you how the world thinks right now. Well,
Right.
America especially. You got Layla Edwards over there making history, right?
They fighting for the gold medal Thursday. Matter of fact,
So
yep,
so
Team
so
USA.
so let's take the time to bring that in and say that's a very positive thing to talk about.
Absolutely,
And hands down, nobody can change this history that's being created, right?
absolutely.
But watch how we don't even talk about it though. Watch how news
They'll dig
stations.
into or pass something off the skate, off the ice, and
Thank you.
that's
They're
how
gonna
we
talk about.
do.
They're gonna find a way to talk about something ignorant, some crime that's going
Some
on,
from her past,
or
that's how they do.
or
Yeah,
even not even talk about her at all. Talk about some other news that's going on in the world or in America that's bad. Negatively
right,
driven because the case. That's what everybody sees is the case of saying, "Oh, that's it's nothing to talk." No, this is stuff to talk about. We
right,
have history that's being created every moment. When we drop a podcast, that's history. It ain't even a case of saying, oh, we have to have this golden, shiny thing at the end of the road every time we hit a milestone. That ain't even it.
right,
Firstly, how many podcasts are still out here? How many podcasts are still releasing? How many podcasts are still doing anything actively trying to say that they're gonna do something at all, or even just change the narrative of anything? And again, as I said, platforms are meant to be driven in a way where it can have longevity. And
right.
I looked at so many different podcasts that have fell
Yeah,
off like completely over the past 2 years. And these were podcasts that had, 50, 60, 70,000, followers IG wise,
and we're still here.
YouTube wise, but they don't
Right,
have no website wise. And this is the part where I was starting to pay attention to all these little details and what everybody else was doing and wasn't gonna have to do. I don't have to go follow the trend to say that I'm gonna stick around just to say that's gonna cause me long. It's not gonna cause longevity. You know why? Because all the people that's getting in trouble, they're gonna be locked up and gone. Guess what? No more content. No more
right.
content. So for a
And
lane,
and this is why I say, and like you say, we feed off negativity.
mm-hmm,
Unfortunately,
mm-hmm,
we feed off negativity,
mm-hmm,
and I guarantee you, me talking about Martin's bad things will make a person go search him over talking about the million march, the marches and
mm-hmm.
all the positive stuff he's done because people love controversy.
Love
If you
it.
never heard of Martin, you could say something controversial and you go, let me look that who's it? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like that's what I'm saying. And to mix it in with the podcast, we could be talking about, like you say, Black history,
Yeah.
something positive,
Yeah.
some history, some deep stuff with a meaning and value. And
Mm-hmm.
people will overlook that because it's not negative. It ain't fighting. It ain't in your face. It ain't catchy. It ain't vulgar. It's not cursing. We're not doing all the negativity. So it's like some people will sweep it under the rug, but the ones that's woke, they'll gravitate to it. The ones that's woke will gravitate to it.
Yeah. And that's a this is a thing where people don't have accessible means to think on their own and have their own mindset to be strong enough to believe in something, that can go a long way. And my thing is for the change to be real, for it to be like, a active situation, all it takes is one person. It don't take like a crowd, you know. You fix one person at a time. It ain't saying you're the person that's fixing them. What a person gets from you, and if a person is around you, or if a person is gravitating to you, if a person is tapping into what you're doing, they're
Mm,
tapping into you for a reason. They're tapping into you for either your energy or they're tapping into you for your knowledge. That's it. Energy and knowledge.
right.
I really doubt Quincy Murdoch could be hanging around here if I didn't have energy and knowledge. take energy and
Nah,
knowledge,
like, that's the thing because I'm all about energy, like you say. I'm
energy,
all about
and that's
energy and vibes, and
yeah,
you know me, bro. If I can't kick it with you, I ain't gonna be around you. Like
yeah.
I'm really that type of person. I'm a real dude, and I know you real dude. We go off real energy. So
Then
for anybody to think this is forced, they completely wrong. This is
so if
never
and so
forced.
if and this is just speaking for a thing for like how individuals have their own way or have their own thing that they have, period, that you have to be this everywhere that you go. Like
Right.
it's not saying
Might not do
you're
it the Martin Luther King way. Might not
yeah,
do it the Malcolm
yeah,
X way.
you
You know.
have your own way. Everybody has their own way, and this is what I'm getting at for is like saying together. We wouldn't be this at this level now if it wasn't for what people did. Not just Martin, not just Malcolm. As a collective effort, you got Rosa Parks, you got Harriet Tubman's, you have the let's get a little bit more let's get more modern Layla Edwards. You have these people who are all coming together for a collective effort. You get what I'm saying? We are
Right.
making history collectively to the point where you got people like Charleston White that want to feel the way that he feels. So if the case of somebody
Call him out.
asks him a question, he deflects automatically because he wants to untie himself from the black community altogether because the case of he's hurt. And it's
But let me tell
understood.
you this though. Let me tell you this though. But he will down. He will say he don't care about Black history. I'm gonna show you how he contradicts himself. And if you don't believe me, go back and watch some of his interviews.
Mm-hmm.
He says he doesn't like the Black culture and believe in the Black culture and Black history,
Mm-hmm.
but he will make a point that he's wearing Black owned clothing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is all Black owned clothing. Okay, bro,
Uh-huh.
how can you not support Black history, but you're support quote unquote, you got Black clothing on?
Yep.
You're supporting the Black clothing. So I think what he does, a lot of stuff he do, he just talking the talk, man. I just think he says so much he forgets what he say.
Yeah.
I
And this
feel
it's a
it's a clickbait type of thing with him.
it's an internet type of thing for him, and
Yeah.
it's totally understood. The that it would you know ring like a bell like it did, and it's nothing against what anybody that follows him in a sense. But to me, if you follow him, you're slightly empty in a sense. It's
You
just
need to
because
open your minds. You
yeah,
need to
it's just
open your
because in
mind.
case you're finding something that's funny. Really, it ain't even a thing. I don't even think a lot of y'all even take them serious. So it's just really just funny to y'all, and that's
Can I say
understood.
something?
Yeah.
Because he grabbed my he grabbed my he was right. He grabbed my attention by his tactics and the way he talked, and he grabbed my attention.
Mm-hmm.
But once you grab my attention, the thing with me, I'm gonna listen to everything you say from then. I'm gonna really listen to what you say, and I'm gonna hold everything in accountability of what
Yeah.
you saying, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
take everything in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just gonna be here for the laughs and the funs the whole time after that.
Yeah.
I'm really gonna listen to what you're saying, and it's gonna click. And sooner or later, you say enough, I'll find out what type of person you are. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's how I am. So sometimes when they grab your attention in, not saying, people can love what they love or, whatever. But I'm just saying you got have a mind of your own also and think for yourself and listen to what these people saying. Take
Mm.
into account what these people saying and what they doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't just be there for the last, and I think that's what society is now.
Yeah.
We just want to hear funny stuff and we don't take nothing serious, like you say, and you see what's going on with the world. Crash
Mm-hmm.
outs as we speak on. Like like on the everyday thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
like people are not serious. Grown-ups are not serious. Grown-ups are complaining more than the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of it. Like, complaining, lazy, don't want to do nothing. Like you said in one, like lazy, bruh. Lazy. Like just
Mm-hmm.
being lazy, complaining. You a grown up and you're complaining more than the kids. These kids going to school and the teachers, don't care. Most of them don't. The kids are acting crazy because they feel like nobody cares for them, so they acting up. It's just a repeated thing, man. I'm sorry I went that into but we were talking about that, but it's just it's frustrating, like as a culture, as people in general. This ain't even just black, just people, white. I see this a lot with every race. I'm tired of. I see a lot of complaining, man. It's time to shut up and put up. That's the only way we gonna get from the situations we're in is to make a change and put that work in. If you don't like where you at, do something about it.
Simple as that. That's the tactic right there. That's the solution. That's the remedy. That's the next level up for some, and that's the final level for a lot of us. If you don't take the action, and this is something I looked into like top of last year. I think it was probably about this time last year, right before anniversary time. And I saw like one thing I saw was that people have a lot to do with nothing. And when I mean they have a lot to do, meaning they'll come up with a lot of tactics, but never do anything about them. And
Mm,
you
mm,
you you will have a mindset to say, yeah, I'm gonna start this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make this happen, and it never ever ever come to fruition at all. And this is something that I put in my mind, and I said this to you too.
mm.
Work ethic and mindset was gonna be totally different moving forward. The
Right.
reason being is these platforms are taken way too lightly because everybody is so stuck in that trend. And it ain't even just saying the podcast people, it's just saying people, period. Everybody sees what they see online and feel like, yeah, let's do that. And the thing
Mm.
is like, yeah, let's get on TikTok. And we all gonna do this TikTok challenge, right?
And
TikTok
I'm
is
sick of that. I'm sick of that, bro.
and the challenges of life right now, nobody wants to do a challenge of, okay, let's help fix the city of Chicago, let's help fix the city of let's say Charlotte, or
Like we
let's
out here dancing,
yeah,
and it's people actually getting killed in the
yeah,
streets.
thank you,
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
we out here, like that's what I be trying to understand. Like, when do we take life serious?
this never
And,
taken
and, and my
serious.
thing of it is, I think a lot of them haven't had to grow up yet.
They haven't.
They still got mommy, daddy, they still rely on mommy and daddy, and they ain't got no real responsibilities, and what I'm saying, they got no care in the world. But
Mm-mm.
once you start having responsibilities, I think your whole attitude would change then, I feel. Once
Definitely.
you're hit with life, I think some people need a harsh reality,
Yeah,
a life, real life, man.
yeah,
You know?
I
It ain't
agree.
all about a game and jokes, man.
Mm.
It's real life going on out here.
Mhm.
And we take it lightly. And I think that's why a lot of countries, we talked about this, America, a lot of countries be having the upper hand on us though, because they know the severity of stuff.
Yeah.
You see, they take things serious.
Mhm.
While we over here playing and like you say, dancing on TikTok and crashing out,
Mhm.
like all these distractions, we easy to get distracted, and it's easy for the enemy to just come on and slide on in and take us out
Yep.
because we don't even see it coming.
Nope.
We don't cause we ain't focused on the main thing. We
Exa
focus on the BS,
Yep.
stuff, the,
And
the non-important stuff. Don't
and
matter.
and for those that don't understand that, it's this is all I've been saying for years with everything, and especially everything that I've seen change as far as on the internet. That's one thing I wish that a lot of us would stop trying to just be copycats. It's very much it's still a world without copycats. It's still a world.
Right,
It'd be okay if you don't look exactly like that person, or you don't dance if you don't dance exactly like that person, or wear their
right.
exact shoes, clothes. It's okay. You don't have to be a trend. You still can stand on your own and it still go somewhere. Trust me. It
And
works.
people, it's okay to love something different. The
Yeah.
ones that's taking this stuff in, it's okay to love different.
Yeah.
You like, you can love different. You ain't gotta pick and choose what your friend like. You know what I'm saying? Try something new.
Hmm.
Maybe that's probably what it is. A lot of y'all just trying to force things and trying to fit in. Stand
Hmm.
out sometime. Try something new.
There
That's
you
probably
go.
why you single. You ain't found that man. You ain't found that woman because you looking in the wrong direction. Why you ain't find that right podcast? Because you're so trendy, going with the trend, and you ain't find something you really like. That's what it's about. Follow your own heart. I just want to say that to the consumers, like in all aspects of life. Follow your heart. Stop trying to follow what everybody else want and do you.
Hey, we could do this all night, peoples. But it's another day of coming.
Yeah,
And until the next time we do get up, just think about a lot of stuff that, can be done differently. I mean, history doesn't repeat itself in
right,
some ways. Some instances, there are those points and places where the next great, person of history that is, us, of our
right,
color, of our nature, we hope that they carry on a good torch. And remember, always watch your actions. Always look for things that aren't ordinary, that are around you. Don't attach yourself to everything that glitters isn't gold. And
right,
always remember that you have the final say so of everything that you tie yourself to. You have that say so.
right,
So remember to tie yourself into things that are going to elevate you and not take you down. Okay, if you need help, ask for help. Every episode, I'm asking if you need help, ask for help. I've needed help with a lot of things,
I
and
need
and and have
somebody to care.
received help. So if I didn't, I can't be here and get to this point to be able to do things like this at a high level if I didn't ask for help. So here
Right.
we are. But again, for whatever it is that you need, ask for help. Autism community, I love y'all. Always stay committed. Always stay down. Always stay happy. Hey, you ain't gonna always be happy, but try to stay happy every day because there's always a bright light at the end of that tunnel. Because guess what? There's gonna be a moment in that day that something is gonna go right. So keep a positive mindset. Anything you gotta say, bro, before we jump?
Yeah, and I always remember you are important and you play a huge role in this world that we live in. You might not be as big or have a bigger name than this person or that person, but we are a somebody. Everybody is somebody. So never feel like that you're not doing enough or you can't change, be part of the change that will help the world. Always know that you are important. And all it takes, like my bro just said, all it takes is that one person. You might be that one person. So make it happen. But love, man, that's all I got to say.